For some of you folks who, guys mostly, I guess, who are thinking about attending a rally with Musk and Trump.
Hollywood icon and Pittsburgh sports superfan Michael Keaton is about to give his MAGA audience a much-needed reality check.
They don't really respect you. They laugh at you behind your back. They think you're stupid. They don't want to hang out with you. They have nothing in common with you. They're not your bros.
Keaton could not be more correct here. One of the most infuriating aspects of the MAGA cult looking from the outside is how Trump's personality and carefully cultivated public persona have convinced so many ordinary Americans that he's not an elitist snob who has spit on and looked down on anyone not part of the 1% club for his entire life. From actively discriminating against black New Yorkers looking for housing, scamming contractors and his own workers out of payment for their labor, all the way to his disastrous 2017 tax cuts for the ultra-rich and corporations, Donald Trump has shown nothing but disdain and resentment for honest, hardworking Americans throughout his life of luxury. Now more from Keaton.
I'm telling you, when Trump, years ago, I guess, said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'd still vote for me, basically what he's saying in parentheses is, these people are so stupid, they're so dumb, they'd still vote for me. They have no respect for you. Trust me.
We and everyone else on the left have been saying for years now that Trump's infamous Fifth Avenue line was the most truthful thing Donald Trump has ever said, and he still hasn't been proven wrong.
Is there any crime that the former president could commit that would disqualify him from your vote?
No.
What if he killed someone?
No.
Is there a crime he could commit that would disqualify him from your vote?
Never.
Murder?
No, because he would never do that, first of all. That's a stupid question. First of all...
He said that if he shot somebody on Fifth Avenue, that he would still win the presidency.
First of all, I'm not... No comment to that.
And what about legally? Is there anything Trump could do that would lose your support? I mean, the felony didn't, the conviction didn't, but is there anything you could...
Look, he came big timer, you know what I mean? Millionaire, billionaire, whatever. He didn't have to get into politics, but he was tired. And back in the day, in the early 80s, he was talking about it. Didn't want to get involved with it because he knew it was going to be trouble. He's just looking out for our country, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Is there anything that would disqualify Donald Trump from getting your vote, sir?
Absolutely not. Nope.
Not a thing?
Nothing. I don't care if he grabs by the blankety blank blank. No, absolutely not.
What if he shot a man in Reno just to watch him die, like the Johnny Cash song?
Well, then he probably deserved it. If he didn't, run.
The sad reality of our situation is that far too many people have shut off their brains and completely given up on critically thinking about why they have the political views that they do and the impact of their votes, instead of focusing on the Republicans' lies about trans athletes in youth sports, public schools turning children gay, the Democrats taking away your guns, and any other manufactured issue to distract these people from the fact that they're getting robbed by the same politicians they vote into office.
Good man, I love him. We need him. Save the country.
You love him?
Yeah, I think he's a good man. What do you think?
Why? When did you decide he was such a good man?
2016. I liked his words, and I like he did everything he said he was going to do, and he did it.
What are some of those things that he said and then he did? Just one thing. One thing he said and then he did.
He caught me off guard there. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Painful. The silence from this Trumper says more than we ever could about the base of support the Republican Party has cultivated and preyed upon. Regardless of your political affiliation and the candidates you support, if you're going to a rally in the first place, you should know at least one position or talking point to justify why you support said candidates. Hell, even regurgitating a piece of pure propaganda would be more understandable than pure silence. But when it comes to Trump, all you have to say is that you love him. Put on that red hat and march in line to feel welcome and accepted by his base of support, regardless of any other opinions you may have.
Actually, a lot more people think if you could just literally just shoot people at the border, they wouldn't come anymore. If you put alligators out there or snakes in the water.
Would we want to be a country that shot people who came across the border then?
Yeah, I mean, because you can't just let everyone overrun the country, because you're gonna make it so the whole boat crashes, tips over and sinks. You want to only let in a certain amount, and you want to marry. You don't want, and you want to scream too. You don't want just people to walk in by foot. Right. You want them to come by airplanes. You want them to come by trains. You want to screen them. You don't know who they are before they come in. You know.
So once in a while, if you shot some, you think it would scare people from coming?
And like, why do people think that we have to be the country that lets everyone in? You know, like everyone's under this like brainwashing that you have to let everyone in, or you're a mean person or something.
Well, we were a country of immigrants, right?
I mean, you could go back to like ancient Rome. The same thing. They let in too many people from around their empire.
But I'm just talking about our country was founded on principles about, give us you're tired, you're poor, you're hungry.
But we didn't have they weren't getting food stamps. They weren't getting supported by the government when they came here. They were on their own when they came here. If they did that now, people would like respect them more. If they did that, we want the country to go back to how it was.
In what ways? What was it? What did you prefer then to now?
Well, I mean, obviously a lot of things didn't get accomplished because he tried, to close the border and all that stuff. Like that's important to us, but he wasn't able to accomplish all the way. We like this travel ban to keep America safe. We liked how he was trying to take money away from tell NATO countries to start putting more money out.
When you say the travel ban, the Muslim travel ban?
Yeah, because I mean. You gotta keep the country safe, even though if it hurts some people's feelings. You just gotta do it.
Do you think that a bill in Congress that would allow the president to shut down different border crossings as he saw fit or she saw fit, do you think that would be a good thing to have in place?
Yeah, you should only allow only a few people in here, based on merit, but also they should have to be able to take care of themselves. Like that's the important thing that no parties talked about. We don't have any extra money to be given to other people that are coming here. I mean it's not necessarily doesn't mean that you're racist. It just means you need to take care of your own.
When was it? What does MAGA mean to you?
MAGA means to me that we have in a country that's everybody's sticking together and everybody's on the right track.
When did we have that last in your estimation?
We had that last estimation was right before the Civil War.
You talked about a time when we were together as a country.
We were together in the 70s, especially in the 80s. Especially in the 70s, 80s. I mean, I couldn't stand Ronald Reagan, but Ronald Reagan kept us together. There was no such thing as a America that was apart, that we was on one side. We had people on this side, people on that side, and we were fighting each other. It wasn't like that.
What does make America great again mean? When was America last great?
When he was in office.
But we were so divided as a country.
That was started with Obama. Obama started that trash, putting it in there, racism and all that. Ain't no racism. Everybody gets along, but the media,
But you're saying there's no racism?
There's racism, but it's not as bad as they say it is. I mean, everybody respects each other.
Isn't it easy for us to say as two white guys that the racism isn't as bad?
That ain't right. You don't need that nonsense. But no, I have black friends. I have Puerto Rican friends. I get along with everybody. It's not. I'm not an entitled white. You know what I mean? I've struggled all my life. You know what I mean? Just because of my skin color doesn't mean I'm a.
No, I'm just saying to say that there's no racism or there is.
Everybody gets along. You know what I mean? It started with Obama. He was the first black president, and then all of a sudden America's racist. Come on. How would he become president if it was a racist?
I mean, America was racist, and then they had the Civil Rights Bill, and LBJ signed it, and that was supposed to be the end of it, too. So, I mean, it didn't start with President Obama, right?
Yeah, but LBJ was no good either. You know what I mean? Yeah, they killed Kennedy.
So LBJ killed Kennedy.
Yeah, he had a part in it.
If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.